Guten Morgen. My name's Eric. Host Eric, some people call me. I'm the Hueste de Taquiendo de Famous de People of Place. I'm currently watching this live stream called Ancient Philosophers' Laws of Life People Should Have Learned Earlier. It's basically just this live stream of endless succession of famous quotes put on this backdrop. I'll show it to you. Ultimately, I will show it to you. Maybe not right this second, but just give me 1 second. Stop rushing me. Stop rushing me. Okay, I'll be there in a second. And I'll show you. You're going to be excited. You're going to love it. You're going to say, what the hell is this? Well, that's something that pops up on my phone because I periodically um, watch it, I guess, or at least like let it play on autoplay while I'm watching it anyway. Here. So there's the quotes. We can see the quotes together if you'd like. Great results can be achieved with small forces. Wheels of justice grind slow, but grind fine. I'll wait till I see one that really I want to have to say something about. Time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is like saying I don't want to. Time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is just like saying I don't want it. Well, that's true, right? I don't have time is like saying I don't want to prioritize whatever you're suggesting, over something else that I'm working on that's more important to me. But sometimes plenty of times there are external constraints as well as just your decision making. So the point is about these ancient quotes in general, what you see is people who are generalizing things that are their frame of reference. So no, I don't want you to meow at me all the time, Mr. Kitty. Hello. Yes. Yes. You're important. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. Must he? Meow. Are you going to chime in the whole day on the live stream, Kitty? Let's see what's next. Ultimate excellence lies not in winning every battle, but in defeating the enemy without ever fighting. Good morning, Winston's mom. Nice to see you. Thank you for commenting upon my short. You can't trust a man who has nothing to lose. Well, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. Well, that's. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. And he's right there. That's what wisdom. That's some ENTP wisdom right there. We are like the herb which flourishes most when trampled upon. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is exactly what I was talking about last night. Distress, abuse, whatever you want to call it, does not does not make you stronger. It makes you weaker. Happiness equals good. Sadness equals bad. Thanks, money. It's very helpful. The speed of your success is limited only by your dedication and what you're willing to sacrifice. Okay, thanks a lot. Like high achieving, whatever. Who said that? I didn't even say. It's easy to love your friend, but sometimes the hardest lesson to learn is to love your enemy. Oh, wow. Great job, Sun Tzu. An enemy is a friend who knows too much about you. Sun Tzu, you are so full of shit. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. This is a good thing, good advice. I'm trying to follow this advice now myself. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. If I were to do every act of my life as though it were the very last act of my life, I'd be like, I need, please get me one Big Mac meal and large with a Coke. I would be ordering at McDonald's if I did every act of my life as though it were the very last act of my life. Goodbye, Rachel. Goodbye. When you're good to others, you're best to yourself. This is true, but it's like basically when you're not bad to others. If you sense reinforcements everywhere, he will be weak everywhere. Good point, Sun Tzu. I will keep that in mind. Beware of sugar that is mixed with poison. Beware of the fly that sat on a dead snake. Sun Tzu, you're really knocking them out of the park today. 5 things to never share with anyone: your problems, your projects, your ideas, your mistakes, and regrets from the past, your income. That's ridiculous, Albert Einstein. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Why wouldn't you share your problems, projects, whatever? The chief danger in life is that you may take too many precautions. Well, I mean, that's for people who are too cautious, not for everybody. Disorder came from order, fear from courage, weakness came from strength. Sun Tzu, stop your fucking stupid stop your like paradoxical Eastern shit. Here's some more of it. Well, this one's not paradoxical. Therefore, just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. Obviously. Captain Obvious here with his dumbness. Just knock it off, Sun Tzu. Nobody's impressed. If there is no dull and determined effort, there will be no brilliant achievement. Okay, I get it. You need to be self-disciplined. The more honest men are, the less he suspects others of dishonesty. A low soul always presupposes the lowest motives for noble deeds. That's kind of true. Always forgive your enemies because nothing annoys them so much. Oscar Wilde. Oh, you pithy man. Yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win or lose. True, but, pointing out that regret is like inefficient doesn't help much. Who does not know the evils of war cannot appreciate its benefits? Just Sun Tzu, stop. Every animal with blood in its veins and horns on its head will fight when it's attacked. Again, Captain Obvious, thank you. Pride and excess bring disaster for man. Well, that's true, by and large. To lead people, follow them. Mystical Eastern wisdom. To push people, pull them. To lift people, lower them down. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Thanks, Bofet. Ignorance is the cause of fear. What about, like, if it's a bear chasing you? If a bear is chasing you, is ignorance still the cause of fear? Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Okay. Thanks, Mark Twain. That one is true, but whatever. Expect nothing, and you'll always be surprised. What if you get nothing? Then you won't be surprised. All you have to do is pay attention. Lessons always arrive when you are ready. Is that really true? If you were depressed, you were living in the past. If you were anxious, you were living in the future. If you were at peace, you were living in the present. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. You can think about the future without anxiety. Soft and weak wins over hard and strong. Okay. Get rid of the desire to have. Live for the praise of others and you will become their prisoner. What FI frame of reference? I mean, obviously, you shouldn't live for the praise of others. Whenever you're about to find fault with somebody, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I'm about to criticize? Here's the thing. When I criticize someone, I'm criticizing them for things that I do not do. It's like, you're not listening to me and responding to my words. What fault of mine most closely resembles that? No fault of mine remotely resembles that. That's obviously bullshit, though. Search others for their virtues, thyself for thy vices. I don't want to search others at all. Sometimes it's good to lose everything in order to understand what you really lack. I don't think it's ever good to lose everything, but I don't know. Money makes the world go around, but don't let it make you dizzy. Be good, don't be bad. Don't get too obsessed with money. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. I can't stay what I am and be something else too. True words are not pleasant. Pleasant words are not true. What silly nonsense, right? True words can be pleasant. Like, it's lovely to see you here this morning. Winston's mom, Money, Boba Fett. I'm delighted to be hanging out with you. These words are true. They're also probably pleasant, right? There's nothing softer and more flexible than water, but try to resist it. I don't want to try to resist water. It's not trying to fight me. The wise man avoids all extremes. Isn't that kind of extreme, Lao Tzu? I mean, do you think your statement qualifies as extreme? Dig within. Within is the wellspring of good and is always ready to bubble up if you dig. Try to be good. It is better to take many injuries than to give one. Respect negative rights. A man is lucky if he is the first level of a woman. A woman is lucky if she is the last level of a man. That's kind of true. The success of each is dependent upon the success of the other. What does that mean? What in the world does that mean? I mean, it's obviously not true. For everything or whatever. I don't like who would make they didn't have a name on it. Whoever wrote this quote's too ashamed of it to even put their name on it. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny. My words generally do not become my actions. Most of my actions don't become habits. And my character is mostly defined by which actions I don't do. Man dies from birth. No. First he grows, then, oh God, when people know a lot, it's difficult to manage them. Lao Tzu, you must have had somebody like me killed or something. Who knows doesn't say. Who speaks doesn't know. That's such nonsense. Like, what bullshit? Lao Tzu, what are you doing? You are writing a book telling people things. Just because you are using the written language rather than the spoken language, you're still saying things, you stupid fuck. And what you're saying is revealing what a stupid fuck you are. Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. Really? Really? In this world, nothing can be certain except for death and taxes. My dad used to say this quote. He used to quote this. Son, there's nothing sure in life except death and taxes. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And your point is, knowledge is the treasure and practice is the key to it. Practice knowledge? You have to. This Lao Tzu has to be the dumbest quote maker I think I've ever encountered. Whoever talks a lot often fails. I mean, this guy hates me. Do not wish health and wealth, but wish good luck. Because of the Titanic, everyone was rich on. This is a good quote right here. This is an excellent quote. Do not wish health and wealth, but wish good luck. Because on the Titanic, everyone was rich and healthy, and only a few were lucky. Good point, Winston Churchill. Victory over others gives strength. Victory over oneself gives fearlessness. Oh, Lao Tzu, you need to just shut the fuck up. Do not seek, otherwise you will lose. Do not seek, and you will find. You know what? That's not true. Accept whatever comes. So you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could more aptly fit you. For what could what? There are three things extremely hard: steal a diamond and to know oneself. Oh my God. Benjamin Franklin, that is the gayest quote ever. That quote is driving me to smoke a cigarette. We will return later for more fun with stupid quotes after I smoke a cigarette. Boy, these quotes are so dumb. Like almost all of them. Where are my cigarettes? While I'm smoking one, I'll make up some Lao Tzu quotes. You know, like, if you wish it to rain, admire the dryness. Or, satisfaction comes not from feasting, but from starvation. The proudest reed on the riverbank is also the one most likely to get picked. Let's see. To really see your enemy, have your enemy really see you. Okay. The best wall is a welcoming smile. Let's see. If you were like the fish, you will work but go nowhere. If you are like the wood, you will float downstream. Here's like a nature one. The best little wilderness car are your 2 feet. If you work hard, work like the river, not like the beaver. He who shares his enigmatic thoughts should not be listened to, for he is like the chattering jay who whiles away the time with his endless squawks. Anybody else want to write some Lao Tzu quotes? Which type is qualified to actually make good quotes if it's even possible? I have some good quotes. You know, I don't have a list of them or anything, but I've made some good quotes. You know, I'd say like this is a good and informative, quotable thing. And when a person okay, I don't know how to, now I don't know quite how to phrase it, but it's this. A death that's harder for the one dying is easier for those left behind, and vice versa. Vice versa. So a death that's easy is hard for those left behind. A death that's hard is easy for those left behind. Now, this is just generalized or extrapolated from my own personal experience where my dad's death was easy for him, quick, on his terms completely. But it was a lot harder for us. My mom's death was miserable for her, extended dementia collapse, you know, and thus her death was very easy for us. But really, if I were going to be more accurate rather than poetic in the construction of it, I'd say it has to do with suddenness and unexpectedness. Like, the more sudden and unexpected a death is, the more difficult it is for the people left behind. But, you know, if you wanted to genuinely, really delve into the topic, you'd have to include matters of like justice. Obviously, an unjust death is more painful for people left behind than a just one as well. Kitty, I'm not watching you eat right now again, so you have meowed my ears off this morning. Could you meow any more than you have meowed? I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm not an expert on quantity of meows. Okay, Benjamin Franklin. I lost a little bit of respect for you for this particularly gay quote of yours. Okay. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. That may have been true, Albert Einstein, in your time before women really did a lot of stuff, but it's not true now. We are a product of our past, but we don't have to be prisoners of it. We don't? I mean, what if in your past you murdered and you're actually a prisoner? Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. I see. Looks like we're heading towards that waterfall. Bobby, listen. Remember Lao Tzu's words. Just let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. But we're going to go over the edge of the waterfall. Life is a series of changes. Don't resist them. It only creates sorrow. Okay, but if we don't resist this one, it's going to create death. Lao Tzu, you're such an idiot. Man, that has to be one of the history's stupidest people. Lao Tzu. Oh, God. What garbage. The one who knows and pretends not to know is on top. Who, without knowledge, pretends to be knowledgeable. He is sick. Can't a person who knows share his knowledge? Wouldn't that be okay too? I sort of agree with Lao Tzu, although he's pathologizing for sure. Who without knowledge pretends to be knowledgeable is sick. Well, that's called Dunning-Kruger, Lao Tzu. Be attentive to your thoughts. They are the beginning of your actions. I, you must have few thoughts, Lao Tzu. A man dies easily because he has too much will to live. What? How does that make any sense at all? It is a rough road that leads to heights of greatness. Fill your bowl to the brim and it will spill. Keep sharpening your knife and it will be blunt. Okay. Like this quote basically says, like, you know, don't be a TE idiot, I guess. Is its point. Even a loss can turn into a profit, or a profit can turn into a loss. Ooh, really? Things aren't permanent? You can always rise above those who offended you by forgiving them. That's not entirely wrong. The truth is not always beautiful, nor are beautiful words the truth. Well, sometimes they are. You are controlled by the one who makes you angry. Well, that's kind of true. That's the issue. One of the issues I was having with Corey is that I don't like my emotions being controlled like that. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire called conscience. Okay. You have to work to keep that alive, really? I mean, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I mean, that's really a action outcome frame. Success comes from keeping the ears open and the mouth closed. Okay, well, then why are you saying that? Never say never because the days go by so fast and nothing stays the same. Okay, be open to new things. When I free myself from who I am, I become who I can be. Why is who I am a cage? The snow goose need not bathe to make itself white. Neither need you do anything but be yourself. Really? Is that really true, Lao Tzu? It is the working man who is the happy man. It is the idle man who is the miserable man. There's a little bit of truth in that. I am pretty happy while being idle, actually. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invented the airplane, the pessimist, the parachute. That's a good quote. I like that quote. That one I'll give 5 points to. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react. I don't know about those percentages. Like, how did you come up with those percentages? Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. Oh, I didn't know that. I'll explain that to the shopkeepers in town as I walk out with their merchandise. Oh, don't worry about it. I've realized there's nothing lacking. So the whole world belongs to me. Oh, Lao Tzu. We gain by losing, lose by gaining. Lao Tzu, shut the fuck up. Temperance is the first step of virtue, which is the beginning of moral perfection. Oh, really? Okay. Moral perfection is what we're going for. Huh? We lavish gifts upon children, but the most precious gift, our personal association, which means so much to them, we give grudgingly. Be a better parent. Love your kid more. That's not terrible advice, but kind of straightforward. You can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. It's a very anti-TE frame. The wise man is one who knows what he does not know. That's fairly true. Or, I mean, it's a necessary but insufficient condition to wisdom. If you lack faith, then existence does not believe in you. I like this one, actually. I like this one. It's it's an appropriate it's an appropriate kind of point to make about magical thinking. I like it a lot, actually. Well, so you get it 1 point for that. Money grows on skills, not trees. They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. Very famous quote, and worth remembering. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, which, while loving someone deeply, gives you courage. Maybe. New beginnings are disguised as painful endings. Okay. Associate yourself with men of good quality if you esteem your own reputation. For this, better to be alone than in bad company. It's better to be alone than in bad company. You just put that, is all you need to put. So the unwilling soul sees what's hidden, and the ever wanting soul sees only what it wants. What? Your life improves once you realize no one cares. Not sure about that. Be bent and you will be straight. Be empty. Oh, God. One of these. This is so horrible. Be bent and you will stay straight. Be empty and you will remain complete. Be worn out and you will stay new. Shut up. What nonsense. Success is as dangerous as failure. Hope is as hollow as fear. Okay. He that can't have patience can have what he will. Really? I think it requires more than patience. Health is the greatest possession. Contentment is the greatest treasure. Confidence is the greatest friend. Well, that's not wrong in some sense, but you can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. There's some trueness to that. The whole being knows without learning, sees without looking, and attains without doing. That's just people of higher morality do not consider themselves moral, therefore they have the highest morality. That's complete bullshit. It's just factually false, just completely bullshit. Accept yourself, love yourself, and keep moving forward. If you want to fly, you have to give up what weighs you down. Thanks, inspirational poster in a classroom. A sage who okay, so this is starting to repeat now. I've seen these ones before. So I'm gonna nix this. But we could possibly do a different quotes thing. Let's look at this garbage. The 48 Laws of Power. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior in your desire to please and impress them. Do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Beware of friends. If you have no way, enemies, find a way to make them. Conceal your intentions. Oh, God. These are all horrible bullshit. Conceal your intentions. No, always reveal fully your intentions without. Why do you think you're at war all the time? Always say less than necessary. Okay, look, there is something to be said for brevity, concision, yada yada. But the idea that you would say less than necessary expresses the idea that you would fail to convey all the information that you need to convey. Very stupid notion. Stop thinking you're at war with the world. The more you say, the more common you appear and less in control. Even if you say something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-minded, and sphinx-like. If you're trying to impress idiots, so much depends on reputation growing with your life. Well, that's true in the sense that except I would change reputation to credibility. You know, reputation is too broad. You need to be a person of good character, in which case you'll maintain a decent reputation regardless. But what you really need to protect is your credibility, because that is the condition upon which your speech matters. Better to inflate a man's ego than his manhood. Depends what you're trying to do to him, I guess. Learn to destroy your enemies by opening holes in their reputation and let public opinion hang them. Court attention at all costs. Well, I like this one. This one conforms with what I like, so it's fine. What is unseen counts for nothing. This is very like it is very pro Eric, that quote there. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. What a horrible quote. What a horrible thing to do. Interesting that they show Kissinger. He didn't care too much about reputation and sometimes. I think they just pick famous people. This is like, let's just put some shit behind behind these quotes random, like some famous people, and make it seem. Put this smoke here. Like, what's this smoke for? Law 8, make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. Are you gonna grab their ankle with a bear trap? when you force the other person that you're in control. Lure him with fabulous games, then attack. You hold the cards. Win through your actions, never through argument. Oh, God. Well, I mean, it's true. This is absolutely true. But the point is, if you allow argumentation to do its good work, the work of God, then you don't necessarily have to win and lose everything, right? Not everything has to be zero sum. Okay, but the problem is, yes, it may be the case that resentment and stuff it creates haters to be correct. But it's God's work, right? Somebody has to be correct. Otherwise, you have a world full of these fucking TE pricks. Like this guy who ever wrote this stupid Robert Greene. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. This is true. This is true for sure. Learn to keep people dependent on you. To maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. The more you are relied upon, the more freedom you have. Well, that's not terrible, I guess. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Why are you having a victim? What the fuck is this? Like, who who wants to have a victim? You cannot deceive and manipulate me at will with your bullshit. None of this shit works on me. When asking for help, appeal to people self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Well, like, what about their friendship? Like, as a friend, Cameron is finds it very satisfying, I think, to be helpful to me and Rachel. It's his love language, you know. So if I do need help and I call him, I'm appealing to his friendship, not his self-interest or his mercy or his gratitude. He kind of almost gets offended when I say I should pay him for certain things, you know. It's great. We're friends, aren't we? It's let people be who they are and engage them accordingly. When was this horrible book written? Not that long ago, right? Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Okay, so how are you going to look at yourself in the mirror after following all these laws of power? I guess that doesn't matter. Here, we were watching that before. It cycled around, so I stopped watching that one. Crush your enemies completely. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Okay, well, that's sort of true. I mean, quite true, really. But I guess if it's conditionally posed as like this, if you want this, then do this, and fine, I guess. Keep others in suspense, cultivate an air of unpredictability. Well, if you were to follow these rules, you'd be spending all of your time not thinking about anything other than controlling people and stuff. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Okay. That a lot of these guys have in common is they meticulously plan personas and shit instead of just living. Well, that's what it seems like he's recommending. Know who you are dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Well, that's kind of true. This actually is worth what this part here is worth noting. So there are many different kinds of people in the world. You can never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Deceive or outmaneuver some people, and they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. It is true that spite monkeys um, will spend a lot of energy and time trying to get you, right? But that doesn't mean that you should let them dictate to you how to behave accordingly. You know, I can think of an instance where I did let that happen, which is to say, with Michelle Shocked, after after she like ran out of threats, I wanted to like email her and say, well, chicken, like I thought you spent all the time calling me chicken, and now here you are doing nothing, right? But I thought, no, this bitch is too crazy. Don't it's like I don't want to further incite her insane level of the insane level of energy she puts into trying to silence people who criticize her. And if you try to get the bad guy too much, you do in fact become like the bad guy. Do not commit to anyone. Do not commit to any side or cause but yourself. I mean, I agree with that. You don't want to commit to a side or a cause because then you're not going to be correct. Play a sucker to catch a sucker seems dumber than your mark. Why are you having a mark? Are you a criminal who's trying to scam people? Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. When you are weaker, never fight for honor. Surrender instead. I mean, that's not terribly wrong. Concentrate your forces at this. What did that say? Concentrate your forces. That's all it says. Play the perfect courtier. The perfect courtier thrives in a world where everything revolves around power and political dexterity. I mean, schmooze people. Recreate yourself. Why don't you just be yourself? How about that? I'm third slot Effie, so I'm all about how others perceive me and so forth. But nevertheless, even I don't think you should spend all of your time crafting people's perceptions like that. Keep your hands clean. Keep your whole body clean. Use others as unwitting pawns. No, don't do that. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult like following. I do the exact opposite of this shit, right? Like, I'm not trying to get people to emphasize enthusiasm over clear thinking and rationality. That's what you just said. Tell people emphasize enthusiasm over clear thinking and rationality. That's exactly wrong. Interaction with boldness. Well, I agree with that. You know, balls deep or not at all is kind of a good general rule of thumb for most kinds of actions or undertakings. No one honors the timid. Plan all the way to the end. You can't plan all the way to the end. I'm learning this. I've learned this over the years. TE requires, it's an interface thing, right? It's not, you action deliberation lets you plan. Interface does not let you plan that far ahead. You know, make your accomplishments seem effortless. Why? Let's see if we can find some other quotes. We're watching this one, but I think we've seen all the ones on it. I wish they knew sooner versus this one. Actually, we didn't watch this one. We watched the other one. So let's look at this one. All knowledge which ends in words will die as quickly as it came to life, with the exception of the written word, which is its mechanical part. I'm SXSO. Yeah, we did away with Robert Greene. I'm tired of Robert Greene's nonsense. Carl Jung. We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. Well, that's kind of pointless. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so can no one be forced into unbelief. Well, that's true, but kind of obvious. Don't dare trust a wife that says you're always right. Yeah, well, nobody's always right. And one of the beautiful things that I love so much about Rachel is I can count on her to cue me without even saying anything when I'm wrong. It is easier to build a boy than to mend a man. That's true. Neither a man nor a crowd nor a nation can be trusted to act humanely or to think sanely under the influence of great fear. True. True enough, but I'm not sure what the point is. Some people play safe not to lose. You definitely will lose if you play safe. Well, sometimes you won't, but okay. Our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children. Really. There are in the old days that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country, but in modern war, there's nothing sweet nor fitting in your dying. You will die like a dog for no good reason. War is bad. We can sum up these quotes sometimes in simpler terms. War is bad is what Ernest Hemingway is trying to get out there, in case he thought it was good. It is not a pity that a person was born or died, that he lost his money at home. All this property does not belong to him, but it is a pity if a person loses his true property or his dignity. Well, I mean, it certainly is a pity if someone's house burns down or something. So, Epictetus, no. You get 0 points. Do not avoid doing small services. They will think that you are also capable of big ones. Okay, that's true. Once you prove yourself useful, then you get people go, hey, man, you'd be useful to otherwise. He who obeys does not listen to himself. Blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of truth. Oh, that's true. It's very TI. Just as courage imperils life, fear protects it. Hmm. Okay, Leonardo da Vinci. Victory depends on the valor of the legions. That's not. How is that even a quote? It sounds like something that he's saying before a war. Like, look, you guys got to be extra good this time, or we're gonna lose. No great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of figs, grapes, or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Well, I mean, that's not true, really. Like, uh, Kubla Khan by Coolridge, I think his name is. Maybe it's Cool Ranch Doritos, his name is. But anyway, he woke up from a dream with that poem in his mind, wrote down as much as he could, got interrupted while writing it, and then couldn't write any more of it, forgot it. That is something that great was created suddenly. So it does happen. It's a great poem too, Kubla Khan. It's like Kubla Khan, Kubla Khan. Everybody loves it, Kubla Khan. Genius lies in the ability to distinguish the difficult from the impossible. Now, that's success, Napoleon, not genius. Fear is pain arising from the anticipation of evil. Not necessarily. A man who's rich is rich whose income is larger than his expenses, and he is poor whose expenses are greater than his income. Okay, John de la Bruyere. Listen, I know. I'm trying to fix that right now. Okay, just shut the fuck up. I don't need to hear about it. Who is Bobby McGee? I think it's Janis Joplin's boyfriend. For it is not what happens to me that makes me great, but it is what I do. Soren Kierkegaard. There's more. Okay, whatever. Whatever, Soren Kierkegaard. Each man should frame life so that at some future hour fact and his dreaming meet. People never lie so much as before an election, during a war, or after a hunt. Eh. Reason is no match for passion. Well, I'm convinced that the soul of every person rejoices when he does good to another. I want to go back to that reason is no match for passion. Reason and passion are equally matched because what passion has is intensity, but not sustainability. What reason has is the advantage of being turn based. So you can go back to the same arguments, pick up where you left off, etc. And it doesn't require passion to do that. I mean, my soul doesn't rejoice when I do good for another. It makes me depressed or sad because I note that something is bad and upsetting to me or whatever. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. That's true, Dale Carnegie. But if your goal is ultimately to be the one that people are interested in, then you have to start off. You have to start there. Like I have things worthwhile to say. I'm saying them. Hopefully, you find them interesting enough. Strange how complicated we can make things just to avoid showing what we feel or to avoid telling the truth about our feelings. I didn't fail the test. I just found 100 ways to do it wrong. Well, and it wasn't really a test. Don't do unto others what you don't want done unto you. That's a much better rule than do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This rule is pretty easily universalizable, whereas the golden rule is not. The platinum rule is better: do unto others as they would have you do unto them. But this negation as the golden rule is much stronger than the positive framing of it. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Well, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. It's not, I know, it's not true, but I don't want comfort. I want God. I want poetry. I want real danger. I want freedom. I want goodness. I want sin. Huxley. Huxley was an NTP, I think. There's only one way to avoid criticism: do nothing, say nothing, be nothing. Yeah, exactly. You're gonna incite some haters when you got shit to say. The pleasure of criticizing takes us away from the pleasure of being moved by some very fine things. I mean, I think that's not true. Like I'm I'm emotionally engaged on all levels with whatever media I'm consuming. For example, if it's bad, I will critique it. I will take pleasure in, for example, um, a, a poetically phrased scathing critique. But in the next moment, I will watch a good cartoon and I will cry and sob and love every minute of it. So Isaac Newton is the next quote maker. That was the last quote maker I was talking about. If I have ever made any valuable discoveries, it has been due more to patient attention than any other talent. I mean, that's very TI frame reference. So it's like I could say this myself, right? It's like if I added anything particularly valuable to cognitive function understandings, which I have, it's been more due to patient, like brute force work than to intelligence or any particular talent on my part. And it's also been due to my background, which has been very helpful, but that's true. Political power, properly called, is merely the organized power of one class for oppressing the other. Karl Marx, fuck off. You fucking idiot. The worst person among people is a person without aspirations. Why is that the worst person? How about murderers? Avoid people who try to diminish your ambitions. Well, you're going to have to encounter them and, fuck off. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. Oh God, Lao Tzu. Enough. I'm not even going to reread this quote. I read it in the last thing. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Abraham Lincoln. It's a pretty funny quote. Greatest thing we can produce is character. Everything else can be taken from us, but not our character. I often carry things to read, so I will not have to look at people. Good quote, Bukowski. The secret of being a bore is to tell everything. Well, I'm a bore. I tell everything. It's also the secret to being a transparent, realized ENTP. In everyone's life, there's a point of no return, and in a very few cases, a point where you can't go forward anymore. And when we reach that point, all we can do is quietly accept the fact. That's how we survive. Points of no returns That's a very slavish understanding of things. It's like if you understand life as being the slabs, you recognize that as you take a given choice, take a given course of action, you can reverse course for a little while, but pretty soon you're down that slope too far and you can't, you know where you're walking back up the slope and going the other way. The ski slope analogy. Haruki Murakami. Haruki Murakami. Haruki Murakami wrote this quote. Oh, Haruki Murakami, you so cray. I abhor illusion. That is why I accept the world as it is. Really? That's why you accept it? Because you abhor illusion? I never could tell lie that anyone would doubt nor truth anyone would believe. One of the penalties of refusing to participate in politics is you end up being governed by your inferiors. Fair enough, Plato. Fair enough. Knowledge is a wealth that can't be stolen. Mother's arms are made of tenderness, and sweet sleep blesses the child who lies therein. Good mothers are good. Thanks, Victor Hugo. Thank you. When you say you agree to a thing in principle, you mean that you have not the slightest intention of carrying it out in practice. Wow. Power is a drug. Whoever has tried it at least once is poisoned for forever. Poison forever. That is not true at all. Winston Churchill, I normally agree with you, but not that one. We are all capable of believing things which we know to be untrue, and then when we are finally proved wrong, impudently twisting the facts so as to show that we were right. I mean, I'm not capable of that. George Orwell. Speak for yourself. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today. How much of today should I let it use up? What a sad era when it is easier to smash an atom than a prejudice. Okay, Albert Einstein. Whatevs. Women made such swell friends, awfully swell. In the first place, you had to be in love with a woman to have a basis of friendship. That's not true. It's ridiculous. Nothing is easier than to denounce the evildoer. Nothing is more difficult than to understand him. Well, no, denouncing the evildoer is not necessarily easy. Lots of people fail to do it. Understanding them is not necessary. Stopping them is important. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what the storm's all about. The storm's all about changing me? I thought it was all about dropping rain and lighting and stuff. If you knew what I know about the power of giving, you would not let a single meal pass without sharing it in some way. Okay, Buddha, I would like to know what you know about the power of giving. Can you please tell me? Instead of just referencing that you know it. Idiot. Buddha, don't be a dumbass. In order to make man or boy covet thing, it's only necessary to make that thing difficult to attain. Not really. Those who tell the stories rule society. It's more like those who rule society tell the stories. It is better to get lost in the passion than to lose the passion. Depends what you're passionate about, right? Like Islamic extremists would be better off losing the passion. The secret of happiness is to face the fact that the world is horrible, horrible, horrible. Bertrand Russell, you get a point for that one. I like this one. It sounds like me. It sounds like something I would say about the world. The world is horrible, horrible, horrible. When I was younger, I could remember anything, whether it had happened or not, but my faculties are decaying now, and soon I shall be so I cannot remember any but things that never happened. It is sad to go to pieces like this, but we all have to do it. Mark Twain, I'm surprised you died. I would have expected you to figure out how to avoid dying. You were a real ENTP. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Thanks, Friedrich Nietzsche. Really? They don't? Oh, it's hard. We cannot live better than in seeking to be better. Okay. Liberty means responsibility. That's why men dread it. I don't think men dread it. Those who want to enter my life, enter it, and those who want to leave, leave it. So you just let anybody who wants to enter your life. Be truthful. Do not yield to anger. Give freely, even if you have but little. The gods will bless you. Sometimes it's important to be angry, Buddha. I'm mad at you right now for your bullshit. Be truthful, yes. Do not look for malice where everything can be explained by stupidity. This is an excellent quote, but it should be said, do not assume malice or operate under the presumption of malice. A real man doesn't have time to cheat because that man is too busy providing all of which a good woman deserves. Okay, well, a real man doesn't cheat because that man loves his wife and doesn't have any interest in cheating. It's not a lack of time. Don't try to do more good than people can handle. All right, good enough. Hounds follow those who feed them. True. I'm not feeding this cat's cum dumpling. A man with outward courage dares to die. A man with inner courage dares to live. Lao Tzu, will you stop vomiting your nonsense over my quotes feed? 3 may keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. Funny. Tell me and I will forget. Show me and I remember. Involve me and I will understand. Well, then you need to be a little bit more capable of processing words, Confucius. What do you do? Confucius, what is your thing? What is your whole thing? Confucius say, not Confucius show, not Confucius involve, okay? Confucius say. Confucius say, I can't conjugate verbs. The man who has a conscience suffers whilst acknowledging his sin. That is his punishment. True. Thoughts that are spoken out loud immediately and finally lose their meaning. What? Not life and not wealth and not power make slave out of a person, but only his attachment to life, wealth, and power. What about slavers who steal you from your home in chains and make you do work? Did they make a slave out of a person? Buddha? My attachment to life makes me a slave? I don't feel like a slave. We should be careful to get out of experience only the wisdom that is in it and stop there. Well, that's very SI conscious NI5. If you can become an eagle, do not strive to become the first among the jackdaws. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you have now was once among the things you only hoped for. Well, but then back when you desired for those things, you ended up getting them, right? What makes night within us may leave stars. What does that mean? Keep true to the dreams of thy youth. But my youthful dreams were dumb. Man will do many things to get himself involved. He will do all things to get himself envied. Oh, Mark Twain, you third slot FE motherfucker. You are such an ENTP. Projecting your own frame of reference. Confused is right about most people? Well, the truth is not always beautiful, nor beautiful words the truth. Lao Tzu, I've read that quote from you before. It's not false, but way too obvious. There are 3 faithful friends, an old wife, an old dog, and ready money. My cats are pretty faithful friends. My wife's not old, but she's still a very faithful friend. If they spit at you behind your back, it means you're ahead of them. Okay, it still means I'm going to get spit on me. Nothing has ever been more insupportable for a man and a human than society than freedom. That's not true. Always there comes an hour when one is weary of one's work and devotion to duty, and all one craves for is a loved faith, the warmth and wonder of a loving heart. That's true. I mean, it's like when there are times when you feel like I can conquer the world, we can do whatever, and there are times when it's scary because you're like, I need my SI right now or something. History is like meat pate. It's better not to peer at how it is prepared. Huxley's funny. He's an NTP too. I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. If I only could, I surely would. Paul Simon. The only victory over love is flight. Napoleon, just because you had a very twin flame relationship with, what was her name? What was Napoleon's wife's name? Josephine, thank you. The man remembers 3 women, the first, the last, and the one. Well, maybe. People understand me so poorly that they don't even understand my complaint about them not understanding me. Well, Soren Kierkegaard. As with stomachs, we should pity minds that do not eat. I want to go back to what Kierkegaard said there. I think if you're going to complain about something like that, the complaint should be better operationalized. It should be like, I'm not concerned with whether or not people understand me so much as I am concerned with whether people respond to what I'm saying. I mean, I remember lots of women that I've met before in the world, you know. What it means there is like you remember sex with the first woman, the and then the one who's presumably also the last woman. Well, I don't really remember sex. It's like, what's there to remember? You just you you put your penis in, you take your penis out, you do the hokey pokey, and you shoot your cum about. What's there to remember? True morality consists not in following the beaten path, but in finding the true path for ourselves and fearlessly following it. Wow, Gandhi, thanks. Wisdom for teenagers. Opposite for me, I care most if they understand me. If they don't like or whatever, that's fine, but I get angry at being ignored, ignorantly misunderstood and disliked for BS or whatever. Most people would rather die than think, and many of them do. The difference between FI and TI, yeah. If quick, I survive. If not quick, I am lost. Then, this is death. Slowness is death? Thanks, Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu, you're better than Lao Tzu. Honesty, the best of all the lost arts. Oh, Mark Twain. If you aren't afraid of dying, there's nothing you can't achieve. Really? You have to not be afraid of dying to achieve things? I'm fond of pigs. Dogs look up to us, cats look down at us, pigs treat us as equals. Fair enough, Winston Churchill. We owe to the Middle Ages the two worst inventions of humanity: romantic love and gunpowder. Gunpowder. I'm not sure romantic love is an invention, Andre Mourois. If someone wants to offend you greatly, then it is even worse for him. Hmm. Confucius, you're making me think of my friend. He who can does, he who cannot teaches. That's ridiculous. What if what you can do is teach? Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. I'm not sure about that, Epic Cat. Man. Be where your enemy is not. Fair enough. A fool has a great advantage over an educated person, and he's always pleased with himself. Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart. Maybe. Maybe that's true. Sexuality is the key to the problem of the neuroses, psychoneuroses, and the neuroses in general. Freud. Freud, you just were a cokehead who was obsessed with sex. More men are killed by overwork than the importance of the world justifies. I don't know how many people are killed by overwork. True heroism is to be above the misfortune of life and the impossibility of a word from the dictionary of fools. I'm not sure what that means. Anything you're good at contributes to happiness. I can. Man cannot control the current of events. He can only float within and steer. Okay, Bismarck. Weren't you sunk at some point? I remember something about the sinking of the Bismarck. Of all things, I like books the best. Tesla. The human brain is a complex organ with the wonderful power of enabling man to find reasons for continuing to believe whatever it is that he wants to believe. Voltaire, I get it. You're a Tine kind of guy, and you're mad at the idiots all around you. Thank you for your fine work. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you in the deepest valley. I don't want to go to the deepest valley. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. Okay. So, ignorant people are dead. Winter is on my head, but eternal spring is in my heart. That's true, Victor Hugo, for me too. Real generosity towards the future lies in giving all. Okay. In literature, you're astonished at what is chosen by others. There's no way to peace, there's only peace. Well, then, how does one transition from war to peace? 24 years ago, I was strangely handsome. The remains of it still visible through the rifts of time. I don't think smoking cigarettes and drink trench toast. And yes, it is true. Some people have been worked to death in history, but um, I don't think that quote was referring to slavery. Schopenhauer, from the point of view of youth, life is an endless future. From the point of view of old age, it is a very short past. True enough. The less I needed, the better I felt. Even as truth, does error have its lovers? Going to another country doesn't make any difference. I've tried all that. You can't get away from yourself by moving from one place to another. There's nothing to that. True enough, but not particularly insightful. It is wrong to assume that men of immense wealth are always happy. I don't think anybody really assumes that. Is that a problem that we have? If you wish to be a success in the world, promise everything, deliver nothing. That's the opposite of uh, under promise, over deliver. Adults are only kids growing up. Well, that's true. I am a speck of dust in the sun, and not even so much in this solemn, mysterious, and noble universe. Well, you were enough of a spectator to get on this quotes thing. Great is truth, but still greater from a practical point of view is a silence about truth. Is silence about truth? What? Great is truth, but still greater from a practical point of view is silence about truth. Huxley's usually pretty smart, but I don't quite get this one. For the world is in a bad state, but everything will become worse unless each of us does his best. Thanks, Viktor Frankl. I'll try harder now. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. True. While they are afraid of us, let them hate as much as they want. Okay. Life has become a bitter drink to me, and yet if you're taking in drops counted one by one. Soren Kierkegaard, quit complaining. Quit your whining. Of all the means to ensure happiness throughout the whole life, by far the most important is the acquisition of friends. Well, it's important. Confine yourself to the present. No, Marcus Aurelius. Stop giving me commands. Satisfaction lies in the effort, not in the attainment. Full effort is full victory. Yeah, I mean, okay, but the government should not hesitate. Once having chosen the road, it must, without looking back to the right and left, go to the end. So never, always double down on mistakes. Is that what you're saying, Bismarck? I live in that solitude, which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. Yeah, as you get older, you need fewer, a little bit less people. First 40 years of life give us the text, the next 30 supply the commentary on it. And that's a very SI frame of reference, Schopenhauer. NI people aren't spending the last 30 years of their life explaining their previous 40. Patience serves as a protection against wrongs, as clothes do against cold. Well, inaction does, not patience. What we learn from history is that no one learned from history. That's a great quote right there. What we learn from history is that no one learns from history. Faith is the highest passion in a man. Faith is not a passion. Never believe anything in politics until it has been officially denied. Bismarck, you're such a cynic. Stop being so cynical. Why bother remembering a past that cannot be made into a present? Because you don't choose what you remember. Well done is better than well said. Sometimes. There is joy in danger. Sometimes. He who is to be good ruler must first have been ruled. Okay. I mean, no one, okay. Knowing what's right doesn't mean much unless you do what's right. Well, maybe, but knowing it's correct matters a lot. No matter how far you travel, you can never get away from yourself. That's true. If you think you can, then you've misunderstood the nature of you. History is written by the winners. True. Everyone around will envy you if you tell the truth. That's not true. No, definitely is not true. Man grows as his goals grow. OTE projection. Ask questions from your heart and you will be answered from the heart. My heart can't even enunciate words. No gains without pains. All right. Beauty perishes in life, but is immortal in art. What about weight, though? Hold on. Don't you gain weight without pain? You just eat. I agree with this, Leonardo da Vinci. Art matters. Continued effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. Well, that's for you, Winston Churchill, because you're an ENTP. Effort has huge impacts when you give it. Experience is merely the name men give to their mistakes. Good quote. I was waiting for a Marcus quote. He has some good stuff, but I imagine you won't like it a lot. I like his single minded ideas, though. If you go too far down that path, you end up miserable, probably. I approve of the limb propaganda. If you're fast acting, it is strategically advantageous to double down on mistakes. Talking about Curtis, what type Curtis is? I think he's an ISTJ, but I'm not sure. All right, moving on. If you look for perfection, you'll never be content. If you want to overcome the whole world, overcome yourself. Okay. Whatever. Do not look back when leaving. Okay. Choose a job you love, you'll never have to work day and night. Not true. You just have to do work you love. Much unhappiness is coming to the world because of bewilderment and things left unsaid. Maybe. Put your iron hand in a velvet glove. Do not put off till tomorrow what can be put off till the day after tomorrow, just as well. Thank you, Mark Twain. Thank you. Fate shuffles the cards and we play. I see. We have no agency. You have to die a few times before you can really live, says Charles Bukowski. Yeah, that's sort of true. Aim for the highest. Courage cannot be counterfeited. It is one virtue that escapes hypocrisy. Where does wisdom come from if there is malice in the heart? The mouth of Eric? Imagination governs the world. It does not govern the world. I've got lots of imagination and no power. There would be nothing to frighten you if you refuse to be afraid. That is untrue. I could refuse to be afraid as much as possible, but if a bear is chasing me, I'm still going to be scared. Time which strengthens friendship weakens love. Not true. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Not true. Failing to prepare is not a form of preparation. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Okay, I guess. What we do now echoes in eternity. Maybe, sometimes, hopefully. I make my battle plans from the spirit of my sleeping soldiers. Well, I don't have any soldiers, so your quotes aren't useful to me. Learn first, teach later. Yes, I strongly recommend this to everybody. Face the facts of being what you are, for that is what changes what you are. What? He who flatters a man is his enemy. He who tells him his faults is his maker. I am not responsible for making people that I'm telling their faults to. The memory of everything is soon overwhelmed in time. Okay. Live so that your friends will get bored when you die. I don't need to be the life of the party that much. Weak people revenge. Strong people forgive. Intelligent people ignore. Not a terrible quote. Albert Einstein. No counsel is more trustworthy than that which is given upon ships that are in peril. It is much better to do good in a way that no one knows anything about it. No, it's not. If I'm going to do good, I might as well get credit for it. The first man gets the oyster, the second man gets the shell. The third man is like, why am I here again? What is called a reason for living is also an excellent reason for dying. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I got a reason for living. Your mom. There are two levers to control people. The first is personal gain, the second is money. Okay. If poverty is the mother of all crimes, lack of intelligence is their father. I don't think poverty is the mother of all crimes. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. Okay, Napoleon, thanks. Nowadays, people know the price of everything, the value of nothing. Oscar Wilde. The larger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. Well, actually, it depends on the numerator. Liquor is the chloroform which enables the poor man to endure the painful operation of living. What is that quote about? If you get a good wife, you will be a happy man, but if you get a bad wife, you will become a philosopher. Difficulty shows what men are. Thing is, I was born a philosopher, right? I've been a philosopher my whole life. Not always been a good one. Early in life, I was just trying to figure things out, learning, you know. Well, then when it says poverty is the mother of crime, which suggests that all crimes are committed because you need to resolve some deficit, lack related to poverty. It doesn't say poverty is a crime, it says poverty causes crime. The average human being is a perverse creature, and when he isn't that, he's a practical joker. I don't know. That's not one of your better quotes, Mark Twain. That one's not that interesting. The best way to predict your future is to create it. Thanks, Ed. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. Oscar Wilde, you were gay. What do you know? Oscar Wilde was as gay as a May Day parade. There's no way he needs to be commenting on loving women. The man who chases two rabbits catches neither. Well, what if he doesn't chase them at the same time? To love someone means to see them as God intended them. I kind of like that quote. I kind of like that. What you resist persists. Not necessarily, Carl Jung. At $0, a man can be an ass without being an optimist, but not an optimist without being an ass. The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. I kind of agree with that. Darwin, good Darwin quote. Cultivate the will. This is the armor that preserves the mind. I don't want to cultivate my will, Kierkegaard. There's nothing more unequal than the equal treatment of unequal people. Huh. Time spent with cats is never wasted. I mean, I can't think of the time I spent with my cats as anything but wasted. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. Oh, Tesla, you don't understand the distinct purposes between faith and reason. The best response to criticism is to smile and forget. No, Kierkegaard, like, look, I'm critiquing your bullshit right now. You should not smile and forget my critique of your bullshit. You should learn that it's bullshit what you're saying accordingly. Thomas Jefferson telling big truths. I mean, he needs to distinguish between treated equally in what form and what capacity, etc. So it's true that there's no inequality greater than treating all participants in a foot race as first place, even though it wasn't a tie. But there's nothing wrong whatsoever about treating everybody the same before the law in front of a judge or something, regardless of who they are. In fact, that's required for justice. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. I mean, the pendulum of my mind oscillates between enthusiasm and brooding. Ordinary men exercise their memory much more than their judgment. Napoleon Bonaparte. That's a very NI frame of reference. If your wife cheated on you, do not ask how many times she did it because it can really amaze you. Nothing is more difficult and therefore more precious than to be able to decide. This is a good quote. I gotta concede this quote. Regarding the previous quote by Huxley, if your wife cheated on you, why aren't you currently calling her your ex-wife? It's like the video I recently watched about a comedian guy who has fans who are women, but then started cracking women jokes to be relatable to guys, so people don't say he made it because of his looks. Huh. Nonsense is the outcome of every possible sense. Hopefully not. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Possibly. It's very important in life to know when your cue comes. Yeah, timing matters. When you get an idea into your head, you find it in everything. No, that's not true, Soren Kierkegaard. You're a sloppier thinker than me. My life is my message. No, Mahatma Gandhi, if that were the case, then these words wouldn't exist. These words are your message. Messages can't be lives, you shit for brains. Laughter is timeless. Imagination has no age. Dreams are forever. Walt Disney, did you ever say anything that wasn't just like completely bland aphorism? He does not like loneliness, does not like freedom. Not true. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. Okay, well, that's sort of true. There's trouble with a wife, but it's even worse with a woman who is not a wife. Well, yeah, I guess. Wealth is not to feed our egos, but to feed the hungry and to help people help themselves. No, it's to preserve your financial security for you and your family. Anyone who can make you angry becomes your master. Not true. People make me angry all the time, and usually they regret it. War is the business of barbarians. Okay. Unless the barbarians are attacking you, in which case it's the business of the civilized. Chastity, it can be carried too far. Happiness depends upon ourselves. Somewhat. The glory of the garden lies in more than meets the eye. You mean it smells good too? Great, really wise. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. Okay, fair enough. Great souls endure suffering in silence. Why? Why wouldn't they complain about it? Where your fear is, there is your task. So sometimes, sort of. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. I like that quote. All men become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his. I became very much like my mother in some ways. Forget injuries, never forget kindnesses. Uh, Forget maybe, not necessarily forget. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more troubled retreat than in his own soul. I mean, I don't find my own soul quiet and untroubled. A sunny disposition is worth more than fortune. Young people should know that it can be cultivated, like that the mind, like the body, can be moved from the shade into the sunshine. Carnegie, you are certainly full of privilege. Anxiety is just a slight disgust for the future. Okay, I like that quote though. Carnegie, you got a point for that one. Circumstances make man, not man circumstances. Thank you, Mark Twain. Thank you. You have to have an EHP to say correct things around here, seems like. It requires more courage to suffer than to die. You should make great things, not promising great things. Okay, well. We always show and admit any great change of which we do not see the intermediate steps. We always slow in admitting any great change of which we do not see the intermediate steps. That's true in the sense that if you're not sure how you're going to get from A to B, it takes a while to get there. You don't know who is important to you until you actually lose them. Yes, I do. There's somebody so absurd that only an intellectual could believe them. That's only a pseudo-intellectual could believe them. I am not what happened to me. I am what I chose to become. No, Carl Jung, you're mostly your NIFE configuration. But if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. No, George Orwell, thought doesn't occur in non-language. It is better to find your mind in silence than in conversation. No, Schopenhauer. Stop projecting your own stupidity on everybody. Rather go to bed without dinner than rise in debt. Yeah, well. Charity is injurious unless it helps the recipient to become independent of it. I agree with you, Rockefeller, completely. Rockefeller's completely right here. Charity, everybody should read The Gift by this, I forget this French guy. Charity is very dangerous morally. More likely than not, you're doing harm. Everything depends on upbringing. Maybe, maybe not. Animals are my friends, and I don't eat my friends. Okay, but not every single animal is your friend. Give a person everything that he desires, and at the same moment, he will feel that this is not everything. Not really. Thinking that someone else can make you happy or unhappy is ridiculous. Not really. No, I mean, people can definitely make you unhappy. You know, if Joe comes over and kills my wife, Joe has made me unhappy. To pretend that I should be so detached from everything that it doesn't impact me, and that that's a good thing, is just absolutely horrible. No, it's not by Lewis Hyde. I'll figure it out. The Gift, French politics. All right, I think it's by Marcel Mauss, Mauss. The Gift. Here's a link to it. So long introduction I'm trying to get past. All right, so the actual text of the essay in this document, it doesn't start until page 25. It's a PDF though, so it'll be easy to find page 25. There's the quote. It's a cold place, and they say it gets colder. You're bundled up now. Wait till you get older. Um, I'm gonna say Betty White. Here I am. I'm guessing Betty White. Am I right? Did I get it right? Meow. Modesty died when clothes were born. That's a good quote by Mark Twain. He said yes. Ah, you got it right. I did. I got it right. It was Jamie Lee Curtis after all. When you have an enemy in your power, deprive him of the means of ever injuring you. Okay. Thanks, Napoleon. I relate water to intuition because it fits its surroundings seamlessly without ordinating. Love is a serious mental disease. Thanks, Plato. If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. That's wonderful, Machiavelli. That's a great message for us all. Today is new, but good so far. It's been lovely. A little peopling. It is error alone which needs the support of government. Truth can stand by itself. The educator himself must be educated. Well, yeah, no, unfortunately, Karl Marx, you should not be trying to tell anybody anything. Every true genius is bound to be naive. Thank you, Frederick Schiller. Thank you. I appreciate your affirmation. There's no death, only a change of worlds. No, there is death. So let's just accept that. Hi, DDX098. The first indication of stupidity is a complete lack of shame. New beginnings are disguised as painful endings. Lao Tzu, I hate you so much. I hate you, Lao Tzu. Just stop being you. Be as you wish to seem. Okay. Experience is one thing you can't get for nothing. Okay. Tears come from the heart, not from the brain. Tears come from your eyes, Leonardo da Vinci. Anybody should know that. Leonardo da Vinci is like, why did I watch that on my face? He thought blood was tears, I guess. Meow. I'm going to take a break from quote reading because I want to. Smoke, smoke, smoke a cigarette. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Freud was so wrong. Freud was like the lord of wrongness. He was like Menopause the musical. Fundamentally wrong. Fundamentally wrong, offensive, and dangerous to the well-being of others. That's what we can say about Menopause the musical. But what I can also say is, if you missed my reporting on it the other day, I'll repeat what I noted the other day, which is what's his name? Avicii's song Levels, which goes, I get a good feeling. I get a feeling I've never had before. I get a good feeling. You know that song? Well, I remember one time Rachel telling me like that was her generation's anthem kind of for millennials. Well, no, I noted that when she said that at the time, and then it made me more interested in the song or note things about the song than I otherwise would. So obviously, I noted when I heard the song the other day in a commercial for a medication for menopause hot flashes. It shows this, aging woman. Of course, she's busy doing her thing. Oh, I get a good feeling. And the reason she gets a good feeling is, of course, because her hot flashes are no longer bothering her. She is getting through menopause. She's cool. Menopause is a lot like going to a rave. Avicii's playing. I will be there in a second, motherfucker. Stop meowing at me. You just are the most Captain Meow in history. And it's like when I watch you eat the full meal. Don't eat just a few, like, you just ate. I just watched you eat. So why didn't you finish eating then? Time spent with talking to famous people is never wasted. But it's usually squandered. There's a big difference between wasting and squandering something. Okay, angry kitty. Meow. I will come watch you eat. Crazy motherfucker. What to do when your cat is a motherfucker? There's nothing you can do. You just have to live with him, obey him, deal with his bullshit. That's the truth of the matter. Oh, yes. You are a very good kitty. And you're eating your food so well. I just wish I could someday be like you and eat my food with the chew-to-chew. Yes, Mr. Man, I am right here, and I love you. And I'm watching you eat. No, he doesn't meow once he starts eating. He's meowing because he's waiting until I go in there until he eats for him to eat some more. Yeah, that's what they say on the internet, Hero, is that when cats want you to watch them eat, it's because they want you to watch their back while they're eating. And someone else told me, maybe it was Acacia, that if a cat gets into a fight or something, gets injured by another animal, then that'll often trigger them starting to do that behavior. But that's not what happened with Trouble. He's just sort of gradually gone from being able to eat fine by himself to refusing to eat if we're not watching him. And I'm not sure. There hasn't been any pretty. He's gotten in plenty of fights and stuff back when he was a stray tomcat. But this behavior of needing us to watch him eat only started happening once we moved here, and not right away even. In the last like 6 months or so, maybe he started this behavior. It just got worse and worse. Acacia's still driving. No, she's resting by the side of the road. She's composing a poem under a tree by the side of the road. She was inspired by something she saw. Carlos Paiva, I'm trying to remember what I know of you. You read NF to me, and yet you lean conservative, but I also did when I was young. Maybe you just want to order a side dish. And He probably does want a piece of turkey. You want some turkey? Here, I'll give you some turkey. Here. Oh, sometimes you get a piece of turkey. Here, Charlie, you want this? A piece of turkey like you never ever had before. You get a piece of turkey. Is that good? You like it? You're a good kitty. You deserve it. You earned it by being such a good kitty. Yes, you are a good kitty. And Daddy knows. Yes, he does. Oh, yes. What a good kitty. Giblets, I guess I threw them away. Is that like the gross parts? I threw them away. I mean, we also threw away like the wings, you know, the leg drumsticks or whatever you call them. Because I'm not going to eat that part. I don't like dark meat. I never did. When, you know, I was a kid and all the Thanksgivings and stuff, at grandma's house or whatever, tears come from the heart and not from the brain, says Leonardo da Vinci. What a genius. So anyway, it was always like, would you like dark meat or white meat, light meat, or both? And I used to say both for a while. Until I realized, yeah, the dark meat is fine, but it's not as good. Why would I get it at all? Why would I just not get all the white meat? So then when I realized that, I stopped getting the dark meat. And when they asked me, do you want white, dark, or both, I'd say, just white, please. Well, Winston's mom, even if the cats could have eaten the turkey giblets raw, I still would have thrown them away. I don't want my cats to eat something that I think is gross. The best thing to be, everybody, is neither conservative nor liberal, but instead correct. Just be correct about every specific issue. It's wrong to try to go frame down in politics. You always go policy up. Uh-oh, here I am into some serious business. Look at that. There are not one, not two, not three, but a bunch of capital letters. He's screaming at his phone or computer right now. Fine. If you insist, I will feed the woodland friends some cutlets. They probably want some. They're probably like, where are you with the cutlets? Because it's cutlet time all night. Woodland cutlets now. If you want to touch my cutlets, you gotta touch all my friends. If you want to touch my cutlets, you gotta touch all my friends. Christ, it is brutally cold. I think it's probably still in the 30s. It got down to like 29 degrees last night or something. Well, DDX098, I think the question, attention, is a misunderstanding of attention. So, people pay attention to various things for various lengths of time in various ways. If the way that it's normally used is sort of like, how long do you want your media to be? I just don't think that the term attention span is very meaningful because, like, I'm paying attention in mostly one way continually right now by extrovertedly intuiting with reading and understanding your question and then answering it. The reading and understanding it according to the meaning of the words is TI rather than according to your intention or how it affects my feelings or whatever. And then the answering of it is extroverted intuition, primarily, as your question prompts me to intuit out the answer to it. You know, I have so plenty of things, like I have all this SI shit set up so that wherever I'm intuiting from, I'm not starting from nowhere, right? Or have your question plus my SI shit, and I intuit from there. So, do I have a long attention span? Well, you know, it's like I have more patience for certain kinds of things than others, like everybody, right? I am not a patient music listener. If you're gonna get me to listen to your shit, you need to know what you're doing musically, do it, and get out. I don't want some stupid intro freaking extended miggities. I don't want solos. I don't want whatever. So you could say I have a short attention span when it comes to music, but really I pay intense attention to music when I'm listening to it usually. And it really has my full attention, as this does right now. In contrast, when I'm watching stuff, it doesn't necessarily have to have my full attention. And it depends on what I'm watching. Sometimes it definitely is not going to have my full attention. Like, I like to have sports on in the background if I'm like cleaning or something. And I have a short attention span for sports in some ways. It's like I really need it to be recorded so I can 15-second fast forward through things. I can't even watch the NBA because the free throws just ruin the flow of it for me. So I just think that the idea that a given type has a short attention span is a misuse of the word attention. And the idea of an attention span is something created by like teachers, because some people don't want to and shouldn't be paying attention to what these teachers talking about, right? If it's a teacher in a conditional logic class and you got an ESFP sitting in there, she's going to say, man, the kid's got a short attention span. You cannot pay attention to what I'm talking about for more than 5 minutes. Well, it's because what you're talking about is hitting him in his polar continually. So, for example, probably DDX, whatever your numbers are, probably if you had to take etiquette lessons all day with your FE polar, you would have a short attention span for that, right? Especially if it was just completely arbitrary etiquette stuff. And or even worse, I guess, is if somebody was trying to train you to use it as an interface function, your attention span would be very short because you would just be lost continually. Just like that one guy who survived 3 different boat crashes and was lost at sea, floating adrift on like either a piece of wood or whatever, 3 different times. 3 different times. I saw it on a YouTube video. Must be true. Who moved my cheese? Who moved my cheese? I wanna know. My cheese was over there, so somebody must have moved it. And whoa, I'm worried about my cheese. That was Blue. The song that Buddy Holly never released. I wanted to see what the sound was out here, but I guess I got out here too late to see what the sound was because the sound is now gone. When I lose track of my sound, I cannot hear anyone. I cannot find what I found, 'cause I lost track of the sound. That's a satisfying close. That door didn't close properly after I did the weather stripping because it's a little bit too much. So I had to use this utility knife that I purchased yesterday at the hardware store to meow it back a bit, and then now it closes fine, closes perfectly. You're not clear about Plato's shop metaphor. Well, it's one of those lesser known metaphors, but it goes like this. Life is like a shop. Sometimes it has what you need, sometimes it doesn't. That's Plato's famous shop metaphor. That should be on these quotes here. It would be as good or better than many of these horrible quotes. You could assuredly go through Talking to Famous People videos, live streams, and find 1,000 quotes better than the quotes that I'm reading on this thing. True. It's true. I think what we might do next is switch from this video format quote deliverance to to looking at quotes on a good quotes page or whatever about a given topic or something like that. So let's try that. Okay? Let's try that. Piao, piao, piao. All right. I'll zoom in once we find the page so you can see too. Wise and insightful quotes. "50 wise quotes." Okay. Let me just change this to famous quotes. Let me try that one. Good quotes. The top 100 quotes of all time. All right. 116 famous quotes to help inspire and motivate you. Let me just go the top 100 quotes of all time. This will be a better one. Okay, let's try it this way. Oops. I see it goes down like that. Fine. Oh, this is what I need to do. I'm trying to do it on the computer, but I need to do it on the phone. There we go. I love you the more that I believe you had liked me for my own sake and for nothing else. Well, yeah, obviously, people who quote unquote like you for ulterior motives don't really like you. But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed, but not defeated. Hmm. I mean, really, Plato's shop metaphor, though, Carlos Pava, is the one you should remember. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on. Franklin D. Roosevelt says this. It's intended uh, to recommend the virtue of persistence, I suppose. There is nothing permanent except change, and nothing changing except permanence. Well, there are some permanent things, like getting your leg chopped off. It's not going to grow back. You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist. Well, that's good advice for people struggling to figure out the whole handshaking thing. I didn't know there were a population of people who couldn't figure out how to shake hands, but thank you for helping them. Let us sacrifice our today so that our children can have a better tomorrow. Why is it necessary for us to sacrifice our today in order to have a better tomorrow for children? Like, what's the linkage there between the sacrifice? Shouldn't you at least have clear plan how this sacrifice is going to be beneficial? And does it really comprise a sacrifice if um if it's just like a wise choice but not an indulgence, you know? Sorry, this is just a dumb, pointless quote. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. No, it's not better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Because you can't, I mean, unless you're Kim Jong Un, maybe it's not going to work at all. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is mere tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life, and the procedure, the process is its own reward. What an SE Dom thing to say. Amelia Earhart. Do not mind anything that anyone tells you about anyone else. Judge everyone and everything for yourself. Deliberation values here by Henry James, right? Always deliberate things yourself. Don't interface. No parentheses. Uh, use heuristics of expertise to bypass deliberation. On parentheses. Learning never exhausts the mind. Okay, this is fucking so garbage. If you've ever taught, if you've ever been a classroom teacher teaching children like I have, you know for sure that they have their brain gets exhausted after a certain amount of time, no matter what personality type they are. There is no charm equal to tenderness of heart. Tenderness of heart is quite charming. You don't know your time of birth, where you were born. I know where I was born. I don't know my exact time. I think Rachel knows it though. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. No, sorry, Edgar Allan Poe. It's patently untrue, silly and nonsense. Very much, though, kind of like an INFP thing to say, maybe? Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Is that really a quote? I mean, somebody's prayer. The only journey is the one within. No, there are other journeys besides that one. Sorry, Rainier, Maria Rilke. For example, not that long ago, Rachel and I took a trip to Los Angeles. That was a journey without. Good judgment comes from experience, sometimes. A lot of that comes from bad judgment. And a lot of that comes from bad judgment. Yeah. Will Rogers, that's a good quote. Good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment. William Blake says the following: think in the morning, act in the noon, eat in the evening, sleep in the night. Fuck off. I'll do those things whenever I want. What an idiot. Life without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit. I guess it must be. I don't know. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Maybe. I mean, the point is, you shouldn't evaluate being kind in terms of whether or not it worked. Love cures people, both the ones who give it and the ones who receive it. Not necessarily, you cannot love a BPD person well. Work like you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt. Dance like nobody's watching. Oh, God. Oh, my God. It is far better to be alone than be in bad company. I heard that one earlier. If you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. Like making great pancakes. And you're just bad. You go, well, I made great pancakes. Permanence, perseverance, and persistence in spite of all obstacles, discouragement, and impossibilities. It is this, that in all things distinguishes the strong soul from the weak. Oh, Thomas Carlyle. Independence is happiness. That's not totally wrong. Supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Sun Tzu. Keep your face towards the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. This Walt Whitman, I am glad to see you here so that I can shame you some more, and I will repeat my great poem. Walt Whitman authored Leaves of Grass. The problem is, it sucks my ass. That should be in the top 100 quotes of all time. That's by Eric Strauss. Keep your face always towards the sunshine, and the shadows will fall behind you. Ugh. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. It's not an exercise, Freud. It's a way of life. Happiness can exist only in acceptance. It seems like, yeah, you know. If Edison had a needle to find in a haystack, he would proceed at once with the diligence of the bee to examine straw after straw until he found the object of his search. I was the sorry witness of such doings, knowing that a little theory and calculation would save him 90% of his labor. Yeah, well, that's you just described right there. SI dumbness being head shook at by an NI dumb. Love has no age, no limit, and no death. Oh, that was from Tesla. Well, Tesla then was just exemplifying an NI dumb, shaking his head at SI dumbness. You can't blame gravity for falling in love. I like this quote. And the reason is because gravity, it is human and it needs to be loved just like everybody else does. There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self. Um, I don't think exactly you sort of improve yourself, but yourself just kind of improves on its own, and if it's in the right soil, water, light conditions. Honesty is the first chapter in the book of wisdom. Thanks, Thomas Jefferson. Oh, wow, Sue, here you are. Really? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I thought it'd be gone with me packing my suitcase. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Thanks, H. Jackson Brown Jr. You know what, guys? I've changed my mind. I was going to do well today, but not my best. But now, thanks to the inspiration of H. Jackson Brown Jr., I'm going to do my very best today. So, according to Huxley, you can't improve things around you. What did Huxley say? Well, I guess that's what he's saying. What I would say is, um, I was sort of, I guess, agreeing with it, that part of it, tacitly, because something that's not yourself, whether or not it's improved, depends on the other party's perspective. Whereas only improvement to the self you can claim jurisdictional sovereignty over whether or not it qualifies as improvement. That's right. That'd be my interpretation of that one. A new command I give you. Jesus Christ, please don't give commands. You just indicate that, like, I don't know, put it like this, like, to conform with the will of God, love one another as I have loved you. So you must love one another. Okay, but do we have to love each other just like you loved us? Like, do I have to wash people's feet and stuff? I don't want to do that. I'll try, but there are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. Are those the only two ways of spreading light? What about a projector? Is that the candle? I guess that's the candle. Okay. What if I get a prism? Doesn't that spread the light? It does. And it's neither a mirror nor a candle. Boom, boom, boom. You lose, Edith Wharton. I came up with a third way. Edith Wharton loses. Everybody mark this down on your calendar. This was the day that Edith Wharton got her ass kicked. Ever tried, ever failed. No matter. Try again, fail better. Yeah, well, that sounds like an any dumb talking. God gave us the gift of life. It is up to us to give ourselves the gift of living well. Well, that's true, kind of. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Oh, that's very interfacey. It's like TE Dom or FE Dom, this guy. Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now without delay. Okay, I'm gonna take your advice here, Simone de Beauvoir. Not all those who wander are lost. Well, that's true. Wandering is not biconditional with lostness. Whoever is happy will make others happy too. Really? Maybe. At least they might they might have some like temporary cheering effect on others, I guess, if they're overtly and expressly happy. Or they might annoy people with their, oh my God, I love life. Might be a little bit annoying to some people. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison. This is SI without intuition. It also sounds a little bit like an NE dome, though. I mean, I understand it because my way of doing things is very dumb too. It's very trial and error, or has been historically. Like I've I typically have to do something wrong before I can do it right. This is a stupid quote. I hate this quote so much. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Fuck off, Benjamin Franklin. Tell me. Explain yourself. That's the whole quote. That's the only thing we need in this quote here. Explain yourself. There is nothing on this earth to be more prized than true friendship. Not even the Nobel Prize? A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. It's not a bad quote, you know? I don't find myself disagreeing with it, really. I don't, I'm not, I don't like, obviously, naturally interface frames. This is an interface frame, right? It's about, it's an NIFE, FENI kind of interface frame in its like value or whatever, but it's actually TE because it's trying to attain, it's trying to turn people into successfully, trying to successfully integrate people as cogs in a system. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking. It's very reductive. There is only one happiness in life: to love and be loved. I mean, I find watching anime makes me pretty happy. Just because I love anime and anime loves me, that might be true. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Why don't you go knock on opportunity's door? How about that? That seems to be a little bit. If opportunity's not, if opportunity is not going to knock on your wall, why is it going to knock on the door? The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Well, that's true. Let us be grateful to those who make us happy. They are charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Ew. Always remember that you were absolutely unique. Just like everyone else. Margaret Mead. Like Margaret Mead, I get you trying to be clever here, but the fact is, nobody's unique. And it's not because of their equivalent level of uniqueness. This is very wrong. It's not accounting for 16 personality types. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Says somebody who has trouble starting but not finishing. The world is my country. All mankind are my brethren, and to do good is my religion. Well, aren't you a wonderful person, Thomas Paine? Is this your speech at the Miss America contest? Who's right? This lady? No. She's okay, yes, it's true. Each individual is unique given the particularist differences that don't really matter. Everyone's unique. Nobody's exactly the same as any other person. But in terms of what matters, understanding things matters, and it's not predicated on our uniqueness, rather on things we can universalize and communicate about. The more something links to your uniqueness, the less it universalizes or communicates or matters. Therefore, the world is my country. I read that one. We are no longer able to change the situation. We are challenged to change ourselves. When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Is it ever the case that we're not able to change the situation at all? I don't think so. We're living in a society supposed to behave in a civilized way. Okay. Problems are not signs, they're guidelines. They're not stop signs, they're guidelines. Overcome problems. Okay, fine. What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality. Not really. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. Mother Teresa. I don't know. It's like, here's an example about this kind of thing. Yesterday, I drove by this little hut, this little old West hut, or whatever you want to call it. I pulled over the side of the road, got out of my car, started to got my phone out to take a picture of it and make it short, actually. Not take a picture, make it short. And this guy said, "Hey, stop that." I heard it, but I wasn't sure if he was talking to me. And I looked over and I was like, "You're talking to me?" And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Taking a picture." And he's like, "Of what?" "This building? I'm not on I don't believe I'm on your property, am I?" These are the exact words that were said, but I just did the exact part was quotes, all quotes. And he didn't say anything. And I proceeded to make my short. It is important that he did not leave the encounter with me happier, but rather learning a lesson about interfering with someone conducting their business on public property, taking a picture of something on the side of the road. We love life not because we are used to living, but because we are used to loving. What? That's stupid. Why do you have to do something because you're used to? Yeah. Why do you have to frame it like that? All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. No, Walt Disney, that's not true. The only thing preventing me from being successful is the lack of courage to pursue my dream. Is not correct. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. Why can't we know what we may be if we know what we are? Isn't what we are informative about what we may be? William Shakespeare, I'm not impressed by you. The older I get, the less impressed I am by you. It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. I mean, I can't tell my eyes to see that mangled corpse as a bouquet of flowers. A single rose can be a garden, my garden. A single friend, my world. That's true. Sad but true. Take up one idea, make that one idea your life. No. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Okay, well, I mean, talking about, oh my God. Like, have a bunch of children, then kill all of them but one. What a horrible frame projection this quote is. Friends show their love in times of trouble, not in happiness. I hear you, Euripides. This stuff, this speaks to me. Makes me want to call Corey, you know. You don't choose your family. They're God's gift to you, as you are to them. Not if they're abusive or something. Like if you're an abused child or whatever, here's God's gift to you, child abuse. Listen, Desmond Tutu, you better think a little bit more carefully before you say things. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. I like that quote. That's fine. It's a good quote. It's an anti-TE quote. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. It's a very action frame of reference. The only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing. That's like a ultra deliberation frame of reference, like T.I. Dom. It says everything, we're gonna hold everything, it's like T.I.N.E. We're gonna hold everything conditional forever. Nothing is not subject to revalidation. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. Is that why you keep looking at my pile of vomit, Confucius? Because you're seeing the beauty in it? A kiss is a lovely trick designed by nature to stop speech when words become superfluous. Oh, you're cussing me. How can I talk to you while we're having sex? For it was not into my ear you whispered, but into my heart. It was not my lips you kissed, but my soul. Oh, well, I didn't know I impacted you that much, Judy Garland. If you live to be 100, I want to live to be 100 minus 1 day so I never have to live without you. I feel that. That makes me feel choked up. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget the highest appreciation, not to utter words, but to live by them. Well, yeah, if your words are, normative claims and stuff, of course. But if they're like, that papaya looks interesting, I shouldn't be like, now I need to be always interested in papayas. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? That's not my most persistent and urgent question at all, Martin Luther King Jr. That is not, it does not even make the top 20. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Halfway is pretty generous, Roosevelt. I'm not sure that's going to really get you halfway. Happiness resides not in possessions and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. Really? You mean my emotions have to be happy? Okay. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails. Okay, but William Arthur Ward, he should say, the pessimist, you can't have it like that. The pessimist anticipates the wind correctly. The optimist failed to anticipate, anticipated the opposite. And the realist presumably was prepared for either contingency. So you're wrong. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Does it though? Does it? Does the future really belong to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams? My dreams, I believe, are very beautiful. I'm not convinced that will award me the future, will award me ownership of the future. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. OMG is what I have to say to that. Today you are you. Correct. That is true and true. Not possible. There's no one alive who is youer than you. That's true. Which functions are what? The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams? Maybe an EFI. I don't know what that is. It's just like, ew. It's just super ew. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I've not found it to be so at all, Nelson Mandela. I've been trying to teach people about cognitive functions for years and not making a whole hell of a lot of progress. Change your thoughts and you change the world. That's not true. You know what I think? I think I'm going to change my thoughts about Taco Bell from current thoughts, having no thoughts about Taco Bell until just now, to thinking about how Taco Bell functions as a fast food restaurant in comparison to other fast food restaurants. I'm going to change how I think about Taco Bell from a place I might want to go to a business competing against other fast food businesses. But note, I have not changed my world. I've just changed my thoughts about Taco Bell. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. I cannot sum up everything I've learned about life in 3 words. I've learned a lot of things about life. I'm unfortunately unable to sum it all up in 3 words. Love isn't something you find. Love is something that finds you. I think it's both. Blessed are the hearts that can bend. They shall never be broken. No. Do all things with love. The thing is, if you really truly love somebody, it's always possible for your heart to be broken. Do all things with love. I refuse to do all things with love. Some things I'm going to do with humor. Some things I'm going to do with severity. Some things I'm going to... Don't tell me to do everything with love, Augmandino. It sounds like you're some kind of perv. I need to do everything with love. Right now, Susie, that means you. No one can guarantee success in war, but only deserve it. Fair enough. I will not follow where the path may lead, but I will go where there is no path, and I will leave a trail. Muriel Strode. Well, you're kind of trampling over all the nature. If you would stay on the path, please, we could all continue to enjoy the nature rather than having you make infinite new paths until there's nothing but paths. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting 2 bodies. That's not true. Where there is love, there is life. Okay, well, that's true, but not saying much. Because obviously Since love supervenes upon existence, then anytime you find love, it's proof of existence. It's an entirely pointless thing to say. One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. Well, yeah. I mean, this seems like a very FI thing. The only necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. I like this quote. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Fuck off, Buddha. Maybe you should, if you had spent more time thinking about the future, maybe you would have anticipated me and my rebuttals to your bullshit. Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, by the seeds that you plant. I mean, it's very forward thinking, future thinking, you know. How can you love someone if you don't understand them? Well, I mean, you obviously always understand other people to some extent, but the only kind of people you can truly understand are others of your own type. And you don't want to be in a relationship with another of your own type. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. I never thought about that. Audrey Hepburn. I'm glad I'm there are plenty of things that are impossible, but I am pleased to discover that the word impossible says I'm possible. Find a place inside where there's joy, and the joy will burn out the pain. Okay. Take your word for it. I'll take your word for it, F.I. Joseph Campbell. I will trust you in your assessment of feeling manifestation. Try to be a rainbow in someone's cloud. No thanks. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Just like pointless classroom inspirational poster. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. Okay, fair enough. The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Well, Helen Keller, I hate to say it, but you are no expert on beauty, things that can be seen. Okay? Your input on what the best and most beautiful things are, or specifically, your input on what the most beautiful things are and whether or not they can be seen is as worthless as any input could possibly be. Because you don't know anything about beauty or having seen things because you're blind. Deal with it, Helen Keller. Boom. Who just got schooled? Helen Keller just got schooled. By whom? By Eric. $11, 116 famous quotes to help inspire and motivate you. The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me. Girl power, Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand's Girl Power Hour. Oh, Ayn Rand, you're so silly. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. Okay, but my problem has nothing to do with airplanes, Henry Ford. When everything seems to be going against you, again, twice, If you're offered a seat on a rocket ship, don't ask what seat, just get on. This is very ESFP. Very ESFP. Life is never fair, and perhaps it's a good thing for most of us that it is not. Very quippy, Oscar Wilde. Life is a long lesson in humility. It's not untrue. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison, how in the world would you be able to make that determination about other people's failure? Like that they were so close to success when they gave up? Yeah, you were just bullshitting, projecting your ESTJ bullshit. Bad things are not the worst thing that can happen to us. Nothing is the worst thing that can happen to us. True enough, Richard Bach. True enough. 25 famous quotes about pursuing dreams. Believe you can, you're halfway there. We read that one. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Okay, I decide to be the Pope. The question isn't who's going to let me. I read that one. Winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. Okay. Whether you, I guess if you're in a zero sum competition context, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. No. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. No. You cannot miss an untaken shot. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the water to create many ripples. Okay. So, do those ripples change the water? You become what you believe. No. The most difficult thing is the decision to act, the rest merely tenacity. Not really. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Yeah, okay. An unexamined life is not worth living. How much examination is required before the life attains the status of worth living? Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. A pony's on the other side of fear? Dream big and dare to fail. Okay. You may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try. Okay. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. It does matter, Confucius. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. Is that why we're not living our dreams, Les Brown? I have learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Oh, yeah. True that, Rosa Parks. Good quote. I like that one. I didn't fail the test. I just hate that one. If you're, I mean, I've read it too many times. If you're opposite, I read that. I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse. Good for you. I would rather die of passion than of boredom. Fair enough. Dreaming, after all, is a form of planning. No, it is not, Gloria Steinem. That is complete garbage. Whatever the mind, it may be pre-planning, but whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe it can achieve. Well, I mean, I can conceive and believe uh, in time travel. Lots of people do, and yet it cannot actually be achieved. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by things you didn't do than things you did. So throw off the bowline, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Fair enough, Mark Twain, fair enough. If life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor. Okay. Life is 10% what happens and 90%. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. Okay. Is there anything here really worth reading? Just like go confidently in the direction of your dreams, live the life you've imagined. Shut the fuck up. Life is trying things to see if they work. Life is made of ever so many partings welded together. Love the life you live the life you love. Keep smiling because life is a beautiful thing and there's so much to smile about. Marilyn Monroe. What horrible quotes. The way to get started is to quit talking and start doing. Thanks, Walt Disney. The way for you to shut up is to shut up. There are no secrets to success. It's the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure, says the ESTJ Colin Powell. I mean, I don't know if he's an ESTJ, but that's such an ESTJ thing to say. I like Herman Melville. I like Herman Melville's quote here. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Who wants to be a successful cover band? John Wooden said, things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. Well, maybe. I feel like TE shit, you know? So, like, hard work beats talent, and talent doesn't work hard. Luck, I don't know anything about luck. I've never banked on it, and I'm afraid of people who do. Luck to me is something else. Hard work and realizing what an opportunity is and what it isn't. There's no substitute for hard work, Thomas Edison. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses, Kobe Bryant. Well, okay, but I want exactly, Elaine. Thank you. There's a quote that deserves to be up here. Life has no meaning. It's inherently a gift. Yeah, I hate them too. I mean, the thing is, I'm reading them and not most of them I hate. Occasionally, I'll read one that seems kind of interesting, but it's like, ew. They're only useful really to make fun of. In that regard, they're kind of fun. Yes, you can also do typological analysis of it, but it's mostly fun to just make fun of them. You know who's the absolute worst quote maker in the world? Taylor? I'll tell you. Lao Tzu. You want to talk about a puke inducing nightmare? Lao Tzu deserves a good stern slap in the face. Commit arson and tax fraud. Listen to the voices. It is your destiny. Is that your famous quote for the quotes page? Okay, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette now. I believe I may be running low on electricity here with the phone. These make me feel like I'm stuck in the elevator down to hell. When you feel stuck, that's the chance to become most unstuck, says Lao Tzu. Really, those who are least stuck are those who feel most stuck. Ooh, wise. The mouth is essentially a wet third hand. That's an excellent quote. Much better than than any of the quotes we read. Also, the mouth is also the face vagina. You could say that. That would be a better quote than any of the quotes we were reading, really. Backwards cigarette. When you feel stuck, call your stepbrother. If you feel like you will fail, then you definitely will fail. But if you know you will succeed, then you definitely will succeed. Like, dumbass shit like that, That people say in these quotes is just, go fuck yourself. Seems like there's a terrible bias among quotes that we were reading anyway, the last stretch of them, in favor of TE and SE over other things. You never hear a quote that says, dither longer, further discussion may actually help. Well, you might hear it occasionally. You heard it right now. There you go. So obviously I falsified my own statement there, but dither longer, more conversation might help. Well, the people who lived here before us put this here on the generator that switches from PG&E to the generator, Keep calm, smoke a cigar. Well, keep calm, smoke a cigarette is generally good advice. It's rare that that's a bad piece of advice. Like, if things are getting nuts, stay calm, smoke a cigarette is almost always going to be good advice. This person seemed to embrace its use, the one they were called out for by the other mods. What? I want to catch up with what's happening. I need to read the thing. The blurge was so personal. What's the blurge? A frog emoji? Did you have any idea that the little froggy Pepe had been cooped by the white racists who are also anti-LGBTQ? Is it only the white racists who do that? Are they all? Are they all both racist and homophobic? Okay, well, I don't. Which is the little frog emoji? I guess you probably don't want to put it here. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but okay, I'll keep an eye out for it. My clitoris gets a boner whenever you arrive. Ruben makes my clit feel so alive. I'll keep them. Like I said, Mrs. Mom, I'll keep an eye out for it. Thank you for the heads up. Would you like me to show you what I got at the hardware store yesterday? One thing I got was this. This is for taking the concrete off the wall. I tried using it yesterday. It works pretty well. It's not perfect. But I like this. This is why I got it, because I'm tired of hitting my hand. And then in order to fix this problem where after I put the weather stripping in, it was a little too wide on, and it makes it hard to close the door. I have to make it a little bit more thinner. So I got this utility knife. Then I really struggled with getting this blade to go in. I finally figured it out. I actually watched a YouTube video on how to make the blade go in, because I couldn't figure out how to put it in. Yes, I read the instructions. No, I couldn't put it in. I thought I was doing what it said, but until I copied what the guy did, it didn't work. I don't know. The interest is I want it to not have that any more of that gray stuff on it, and all the gray stuff that's on it is super hard to get off. Well, not all of it. Like I can go over to that end and I can get some easy stuff. But you know, life's a bitch and then you die. That's as good a quote as any. I do plan to sell the house, but that is like top level thing needs to be done, not just for selling the house. I want that done for the Christmas party. Before the Christmas party, I want that fucking wall done. Well, because I think that will detract from the value of the way it currently looks. I plan to finish taking the gray stuff off and paint it. I think. I'm going to ask David what he says, but I have to take the gray stuff off before I paint it. It's not all off yet. I'm not going to hang tons of lights and hide them. Okay. That's a silly idea. Let's see how much feces and urine I have to clean up. I don't look like there's anything in there at the moment. Good job. I have done that many times, Hair Lamb. Okay, it's you would not. It's hard to explain to people how complicated taking this gray stuff off the wall is. It totally depends on the spot. The thing is, well, I went to that on the spots that I couldn't get with a pressure washer without damaging the wall. So, but even that, it's fine. Like, okay, I'll get those parts of the pressure washer, but there's other parts that it's like it won't come off, and I don't know. I understand that I'm changing my attitude towards like fixing this place up or anything. It's not really anything to fix, but I do want to finish that fucking wall. Okay, I am currently just very upset at myself. Okay, well, I will move. I have other things that I got with the intent that they might be useful. Like, I've got this thing that I can put on the angle grinder to try to take it off. I've got the pressure washer. I've got a wire brush and the drill. I've got a lot of different things that I can use, and I will try to be more efficient. Thank you for your advice, Carolyn. You are right. I should try to be more efficient. And I will try to follow your advice. There. You hit me in my critical parent successfully. Yes, I'm lame as stupid shit. Like Cameron comes over and he's like, I'm like, sweeping up these things, and he gets the big pusher and just pushes it on, like does the whole job, like bam. I'm like, ah, no, we're not replacing the whole fucking wall. It's a good retaining wall. Oh God, that wall. You you struggle with video ideas? Why don't you do a video on the topic that I did a live stream on like a couple days ago or yesterday or whatever? How and whether people grow. I think it's an interesting topic. I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts about it. Luminex, Luminex, Luma YXXXX. How you doing, Lou, today? Would you like to make a video for us to see about how and whether people grow a garden plant? I think that would be so great. You're snarky today. Let's throw the bathwater out. Never mind the baby. Yeah, I do think it's an interesting topic. And when I did a live stream about it, somebody else said, this is an interesting topic, which is probably why I said it's an interesting topic. But I agreed with them when they said that. I think this is an interesting topic. I don't normally care about topics very much. The topic is Eric's talking. Okay? About stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get that wall. I'm going to get it before December 9th. And maybe I have to hire a handyman to do the work because I feel emotionally crippled by the wall. That retaining wall is the most abusive person in my life. I feel abused, belittled, humbled, defeated by that wall. Every time I walk past it, it taunts me. And what can I say? I just look at it and go, yeah, I did that. And failed to finish doing that. And then I come back inside crying, and Rachel says, did the wall make fun of you again, Eric? And I say, yes. She goes out and talks to it, and she comes back in and says, he says he's going to be nice from now on, but as soon as she's not around, the wall's back to teasing me. I have not tried giving it a kiss because I know he just punched me in the face. That's how much that wall does not like me. So I'm delaying looking at possible places to buy until after we talk with David more about how long he thinks this might sit on the market, at what we're going to list it at, stuff like that, you know. And until after I talk to Delilah about the other end of it. You know, I've already talked to her about the fact that we're going to sell this house, but I haven't talked to her about what's going to happen after that, you know, during that. So after I talked to her about my plan, which is to purchase a place before this place sells. Once I talk to her about that, get her moving, get her agreement about that, and then get her moving on liquidating some portfolio assets. Then I'll start looking at places we can buy. My real goal here is to, well, actually, Lou, I looked at the graph that Winston's mom shared the other day for Mariposa County. The 2 peak months for sales are January and July. Guess what month we're coming up towards? July. I mean January. You need a medical examiner licensee? If you want to look in my butthole, you do, Jeremiah Fix. I expect my proctologists to be licensed. Just paint the whole screen for yourself. No. No show media, that's a terrible idea. Have I tried giving it a performance review? ENTJ style? Well, no, I have not tried that either, but you have inspired me to play a song about performance reviews. I hope you enjoy it. It's by me and Corey. Mostly Corey, I believe, but I mean, Corey did the vocals. I'm not sure what it did. We'll find out. Probably it's terrible drumming. Let's find out. What do you mean 0 videos? Okay. Let me try a different form of searching. Okay, well, actually, maybe I can find it like this. I can't find it like that. Huh. Why can't I find this song? Why do I show up nothing for Don Knotts? Well, I don't know where that went, but I can't find it. So, I'll tell you what, I'll play something else that's also great or interesting. Maybe I'll play Big Fun. I haven't listened to that in a long time. Phenomenon's good. Play that too. Nothing like me all the time. Bang, bang. What a good song. Pretty good track. Pretty darn good. Oh, very well. I will move you closer to the speakers. Okay, so the point is, don't you even try to make me come, because you've got me losing all my pride. I don't like that. It makes me angry. Angry, like, I don't know. Anyway, this is not my song. That's Corey's stuff. I was just playing it. If it's probably I've played his song before, maybe I don't know. Um, if there's a song that sounds like that of mine, it's probably me inspired by him, not the other way around. Anyway, I'm gonna take off now. I'm gonna watch a little football. I want to thank you all for being here. It's been a great stream. There's been a good amount of attendance for the entire 3 hours, and I thank you all very much for being here. It helps make it more fun and interesting, hopefully for everybody. I love you all and have a great day.